Uh, this is a weird way to say it, and I admit it, but there's a deep sadness to existing with the name Jake Tapper. Now, I don't mean to say it's all bad news. Jake is wealthy. He's in a position where he never needs to work again. He's famous. And I don't know that Jake Tapper is aware of how sad it is to be Jake Tapper. And the reason I say that is because Jake Tapper is accomplishing something he doesn't even understand. I mean, he thinks he's selling a book, and yeah, people are buying the book. CNN is pushing the book hard. This is the original Sin book, where Jake Tapper pretends that the media was fooled into believing that Joe Biden was not demented. And why do I say pretending? Because I'm a community college dropout, and I knew it. And you knew it, and we've all known it. It's been very, very clear. So he's accomplishing something I don't even think he knows he's accomplishing, and that's the sadness of being Jake Tapper. This is a buildup to this. This is an example of this. Jake Sullivan, remember him? Jake Sullivan was an advisor to figurehead Biden, or really someone who ran Biden. He's been around. He was with Hillary Clinton, and he's been around the Obamas. Oh, he says he was fooled. Jake Sullivan was.
What happened in that debate was a shock to me. I think it was a shock to everybody. And I've made that point before.
Just finally, do you think, in retrospect, given everything that's happened and everything we've talked about today, it was a mistake for President Biden to try to run again?
One of the things about being National Security Advisor is that you're mercifully insulated from politics and political decision making. I was insulated from it to the point where, while I was National Security Advisor, my spouse was running for Congress, and I had strict rules about what I could even do to support my spouse, let alone be involved in political decision-making, political calls in the White House. So I have not weighed in on those issues and would not weigh in on those issues.
A unique form of cowardice, I said earlier. Oh, yeah, there's nothing political about the National Security Office under the figureheads who he helped run. Oh, I had no clue that he was a demented old man. And Jake Tapper decided to buy this, and he wants us to continue to believe he bought this. So the sadness of being Jake Tapper in 3 quick clips. I'll do that in a second, just after I remind you something. Don't let yourself get into a position as an older person where you are physically sad. Physically sad, you can't do the things that communicate youth or joy, or they're necessary. For instance, like, God forbid, you're in a car accident. Can you pull yourself out? Can you reach down and pick up your wife or your husband or your grandkids? If God forbid you need to do that. I mean, I talk a lot about working out, and that's something I love. It's a huge passion of mine. But if you do not steward the lean muscle in your body, you're going to degenerate. So don't let that happen. And if you're young and you think it's not going to happen to you, look, if you are 25 and male, good luck. Because the next few years, you're going to start losing muscle every year. So while you're working out, while you're eating right, while you're eating a good amount of protein, use Masszymes from Bioptimizers. It's now reformulated to be 30% stronger. And prior to that reformulation, it produced 1,600% more amino acids in your body than people who didn't use this. It also cuts bloating. And if you're eating a good amount of protein, you're going to get bloated, but not with Masszymes. So go to bioptimizers.com/Todd. Use promo code Todd to get 10% off all their products, and just go ahead and subscribe. It's bioptimizers.com/Todd, promo code Todd. The sadness of being Jake Tapper is that he works at a network that obviously covered up what was going on with figurehead Biden.
Other people who were there, and we should note that the Biden White House falsely, when people showed that clip and asked what was going on, said it was a cheap fake. They did this all the time when there was video that seemed to show Biden acting in an odd or unusual, seemingly out of it way. They would call it a cheap fake.
Did they?
It was not fake. It was actual video.
Did they? So when people like me were saying, he's demented, there's Barack Hussein Obama helping him off stage, like putting his hand on his back and showing him where to walk. They said it was cheap fakes, and that's what he wants us to believe that they were fooled by. The sadness of being Jake Tapper is he's accomplishing something he doesn't even know he's accomplishing. This is his colleague Dana Bash pushing the idea of cheap fakes.
A lot of memes and what the White House is calling cheap fakes, which means that there are videos that are being put out on social media and then amplified on conservative media that in some cases are just not right. And in
Oliver Darcy pushed it.
I think what the White House and Biden campaign, what they have an issue with is that it's wrapping these videos in very misleading context, right? Saying
Right, the cheap fakes. Brian Stelter pushed it. I don't have time for the clip. Stelter pushed the same thing. He did a long explanation about what cheap fakes are. Here's the sadness of being Jake Tapper. Jake is one of the final blows to the collective gray matter of journalism. Jake Tapper has accomplished something unique. And the sadness is this: he doesn't get the accomplishment. Jake, you have proven every single person who said you were complicit in this right. You've given us all the material we'll ever need to continue to say the Mockingbird media should never be respected.